And we're back. I'm so excited because I absolutely love students. I really do. And so I've got 4 students in studio with me, and we're going to talk about Facebook. We're going to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of how they use Facebook, how they interact with their friends. Do they feel like they have true friends as a result of Facebook? And so joining me in studio is Darren. Darren is 16, and he is a junior at Tupelo High. Megan is also 16, and she is a sophomore at Tupelo High. And then Christina, who is 18, is a senior at Corinth High. And then we have Josh, who is also 18, and he is homeschooled.
Right.
And all of you have Facebook accounts.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And all of you, although you didn't sign a waiver, you told me that you'd be honest.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Josh, you did this. Just don't ask me anything I don't want to share, and I'll be honest with you. Okay, but we're here. We're going to talk about Facebook because you were here and you heard my my conversation with TJ. So what did you think about that? Before the break, we were talking about kind of the woes of Facebook and maybe some things that parents don't understand about the way kids are using Facebook. So Josh, let's start with you. Do you feel like you have true friends as a result of your Facebook page?
Well, it depends because, you know, I've got a lot of friends. Because I was telling you about my trailer music thing earlier, I have a lot of friends around the world that I met through Facebook and YouTube. And so since I'm not able to like meet them, I've gotten to Skype them, but, you know, I've developed that friendship with them since they're on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying?
But you feel like these
right.
are
and I can
your
call them
friends.
friends because we interact together, we send each other stuff, we video chat, stuff like that.
Okay.
So I do feel like there is a sense of true friendship there, but then again, I wouldn't trust them like I would trust a friend that I know in real life.
Very good point. And so I guess what I'm hearing here is that this is almost like the 21st century version of a pen pal.
Yes.
You know, someone that you would have written a letter to back and forth in another country, maybe not, you know, possibly meeting them, but now you're Skyping and kind of, you know, I guess emailing or whatever, messaging on Facebook, that kind of thing. Okay, Megan, let me ask you, do you feel more connected to your friends because of Facebook, or do you kind of feel like blah when you think about your friends on Facebook?
Honestly, it really depends on who I'm talking to. If it's somebody that I hang out with every day, or I just I know personally, or not per se personally, but I just see them very often, it's kind of like texting them. It's really impersonal. Doesn't really matter that much, but I did happen to find a friend that I had not been able to talk to since I was 8 years old, and finding her on Facebook really kind of made me feel like we could talk a little bit more personally again. So it really depends on a matter of distance and time, more so than, you know, is it okay?
Okay, very good. So it can be a tool to reconnect with people that you haven't seen in a while, and not just, you know, kind of I'm having pizza for dinner.
Basically,
is what you're saying.
Basically.
Okay, so Darren, now, have you ever gotten a Facebook friend request from someone you didn't know?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how do you handle that?
Well, it just depends. If I see that that person has sent a lot of my other friends friend requests, and they've accepted it, and he's very active on Facebook, or she, and I can see he's interactive and he's not some kind of stalker or something, I might accept it. But if I just don't know you, I've never seen you or anything, chances are I won't accept it.
Yeah, that's good. Now what about your mom? Have you? Would you? Look at his smile. He's like, oh, I don't know. Would you accept your mom's friendship request on Facebook?
I probably would. I accepted my dad, so she hasn't sent me one yet. So.
Okay, that's good. You probably would. What would make you not accept your mom's friend request?
If she wrote on my wall.
Like if she embarrassed you,
yes,
then you would. Would you? Okay, Christina, let me ask you this: have you ever defriended someone on Facebook?
Yes, I have.
Now tell me if you feel comfortable. You don't have to tell me who, but why? What were the circumstances that led to you saying, you know what, you can't be my friend on Facebook anymore?
Actually, it was 2 people I defriended because one was putting posts on my wall, good things, but then talking about me behind my back.
Oh, wow.
On other people's walls. So when it came back to me, I tried to talk to them, like directly.
Not via Facebook.
No, not at all. And they were really rude to me, so I just stopped calling them, I stopped texting them, and I defriended them off my Facebook page.
Okay.
So we don't talk at all now.
Now, the reason I have you guys here on the show today is because you are all Christians. You all love the Lord Jesus Christ. And so the reason I wanted to talk to you was to find out how Christian youth are using social media. So now I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to be honest. And if you feel like you want to tell me the example, then you can. Darren, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay.
That's all right.
Have you ever posted something on your Facebook page, either in like a status update or a picture, that once the moment was over, you know, maybe you were angry or you whatever, you looked back and you thought, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, most of the time, I don't like to post things about other people on my Facebook or my Twitter account, but I don't know. I don't know.
Is that a no, or is that I'm not sure, I regretted it?
It's a no.
Okay, that's a no. And that's okay. It's okay if it's a no. You know, it doesn't have to be that you ever did. Josh, what about you?
Well, you know, I never, like Darren said, I never did anything directly or mentioned someone directly in a Facebook post that, and if I was angry, posted something. But I might have posted something indirectly, like if I got mad at someone, I would say such and such needs to like grow up and quit acting like a 4-year-old and get his head on straight.
But you wouldn't mention his name.
I wouldn't mention the name. And
wow.
then I would just assume that whoever saw that would know, oh man, he's talking about me.
Yeah.
So then I regretted it afterwards because, you know, he and I are still buds, but you know, it's just the thought behind that process.
You know, that I appreciate your honesty in that, and even giving us the example, because that's something that, you know, I have read posts like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even if it's not directed at you, don't you
still
kind of
wish that
cringe?
person,
You
yeah.
go, oh, I wonder who that's about. You know what I mean? Or you go, what did that person do that made, you know? But it's good, though, because you have the Holy Spirit inside
Right.
that kind of gives you that check.
Oh, yeah.
And you say, oh, I don't know if I
Then I go
if
back
shoulda.
and message him and say, all right, pal, that was directed at you. I'm sorry. I just erased it from my profile. And I hope
Really?
Yeah.
See, you're better than me. I would pretend it
no,
didn't happen.
No.
Yeah. I would pretend it didn't happen. I never posted that, and you know, the Lord forgives me. We're done. No, that's good, but you make it right, though, is what you're saying.
Right.
You got to make it right. Christina, what about you? Ever post anything that you regret on Facebook, or post pictures or anything like that you say, I don't know if that was the best?
Well, I don't post a lot of pictures of myself on Facebook because people like to go on your page and comment, especially the people that you don't know. And then, I don't know, are you talking about when I'm angry?
Sure. What about that when you're angry?
Usually when I get angry, I like to throw stuff, so I try not to pick up on it.
So I don't pick up my electronics
I really
because
don't.
when I'm angry, I throw things, and my phone is valuable to me. So is what you're saying.
I get destructive when I'm really angry like that.
So you
And
don't
I don't
you
try
don't
to talk
use
to
your
anybody
Facebook
because I'll
as an
hurt people's
outlet.
feelings and
Okay.
stuff.
So thankfully, you've not taken to Facebook to vent any frustrations that you have had. Megan, let me ask you this: have you ever, on the flip side of this coin, have you ever seen a post on somebody's wall that you know to be a Christian, to be a believer, but you saw the post, you saw the picture, maybe you saw the link to the website they visited, and you thought, oh, I thought they were, that's not right.
Yes, ma'am. I have seen that. I have what I thought was a good friend. They had posted something that just made me mad in a way. It was very derogatory towards other people, and I thought, why would you say something like that? Why? Because it went along the lines of, see, I met this person at a Christian school that I attended for a few years, and you know, I thought she was okay. But then I saw on her wall, you know, I hate it whenever a really hot guy gets together with a really ugly girl. And
Wow.
And I thought, how shallow. And
Yeah.
that's one of my pet peeves is, how could you be so shallow as to think that? Because that guy could think that that girl is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I just immediately defriended her. And
Wow.
that led on to a long series of, I don't know that person. Should I delete it? Yes, I should.
Wow. Very good, because you were friends on Facebook, but in reality you weren't friends because there was something that you didn't you didn't know, right?
Pretty much. I mean, we knew of each other, but I guess our relationship wasn't really that deep. So,
Darren, have you ever had questions about people's faithfulness to God, or whether they're really believers based on some of their Facebook pictures and,
Yes, ma'am.
and statuses? And so what do you do when you encounter that? Do you just blow it off, or you making a mental note? How does it affect your friendship with that person?
Well, I make a mental note of it because it's a lot of people that do it. Like, one day they'll post a status, let's say Psalms 191 or something, and then next day they'll be talking about their friends. So I just...
In their status, yeah.
So most of the time I try to look over it, but if it keeps happening over and over again, I'll end up defriending them.
Yeah. Do you ever find a struggle? Have you ever had struggles with Josh spending too much time on Facebook or too much use of social media?
A while back I did, but since I've gotten a job and since I've been busy trying to finish up school.
Since I have a life
Since
now.
I have a life now and don't need to spend all that time on the computer. I don't spend as much time on Facebook as I would say YouTube, but I do use other social medias like Windows Live Messenger, Skype, but I don't spend as much time on Facebook as I do on those others.
Okay.
There was this one time, like about a year ago or so, that I did spend a lot of time on Facebook, and my mom had to say, Josh, you got school to do, you're going to be falling behind.
Yeah.
And so then she finally helped me get my head on straight, and then I spent more time doing other stuff that were, I would say, beneficial, instead of wasting time on Facebook. And now I just do it to keep up with friends and companies and whatnot.
Yeah. Christina, do you ever find yourself stalking people on Facebook?
Truthfully.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
She's like, well, and here's what I mean by that. Because look, if you ask me the same question, Meeke, do you stalk people on Facebook? Go ahead, ask me.
Do you?
Do I what?
Do you stalk people on Facebook?
Yes, I do. And here's what I do. Because there are friends, there are people that I've not connected with in a long time, maybe someone that I went to high school with, and so they friend request me. And when they friend request me, then I go and I'm looking at pictures, I'm looking at information, and some people might consider that stalking. Now, I don't necessarily leave posts or say, hey, how you doing? But I'm kind of, seeing what they're up to and what's going on. Now, this is the first time I've ever publicly admitted that. Thanks, Christina. I'm Meeke. I'm a Facebook stalker. But what's your answer to that question?
Once I was 16.
I was young. I was foolish. I was 16. It was 2 years ago.
I was 16, and there was this guy I liked, and I had been following him on Facebook for a while, and then my mom saw me, and she had a long talk with me about it. So I actually thought about it, and I admitted to myself I don't need to be stalking this guy. If he really doesn't like me in person, he's not worth my time to be trying to follow him on Facebook.
That's so good. Wow, thank you so much for your honesty. I really appreciate it. I think there are probably many more people than would admit that they kind of have this life that they lead, and unlike you, are unable to detach themselves and to say, you know what, okay, here's reality. If I can't meet this person in person, if I don't know them from my relationships that I have here, then certainly, scrolling through the pictures and checking out the statuses and can't be good, because that's not a true friendship, right? Megan, Facebook stalking or no?
Yes, ma'am, for a particular reason.
Here's what I love about this. Okay, here's what I love. Everybody has their justification. Mine, and I'm guilty, because here was mine. Yes, I'm a stalker, but it was because there were new friends. Once the time passed, because it's so difficult for us to say that Facebook allows us to peek into people's lives in a way that we would not be able to if it wasn't for Facebook, right? This is very true. So go ahead, tell me about your stalking.
I usually like to go through it. See, I have friends, and I look at their friends of friends. If I know that person at school, then I like to go on there and see, what they're interested in, or what their religion is. And I've found theater friends that are agnostic. I'm like, I may need to talk to them. But I can say that there have been quite a few friends that I knew that they did not lead the Christian walk. They were off partying, doing their own things, and there was one girl that I've actually come to be her friend and kind of help her out a little bit. I went through her information. I saw, okay, so she says she's a Christian.
Yeah.
I move on down. That does not look like a Christian.
It's not consistent with what I know to be
It was not,
true of the Christian walk.
It was not consistent, and I thought, now why do people post that they're a Christian when they really have no idea what the whole thing is about, and when they really are so deep? I'm not trying to sound really religious here, but
no, I know, and you're not trying to appear to be self-righteous, but like you, Megan, I'll just jump in here. I've had a similar experience where you see that a person posts they're a Christian, they're a believer, and then you start doing a little bit of stalking, and you realize that there are some things that are inconsistent. We're going to take a break, and when we come back on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about how Facebook can be used to advance the gospel, how we can use Facebook in a way to impact our culture. We're also going to talk about, because Darren brought this out, off air, that Facebook is kind of, for you at least, turning into MySpace. Like you're like, I have left Facebook and I'm on to the next big thing. We'll find out what that next big thing is right after this break. Make sure you don't miss it. I'm enjoying this conversation. I hope that you are too. Meeke's back in 2 minutes.